Thanks for staying with us. We're going to start with the nation. I hear you loud and clear, President-elect tells youths. JAMB sacks 2 over alleged forgery. Excited Osun Ondo residents celebrate Tinubu. Tinubu's victory excites capital market. Poll results reflect will of Nigerians, says Buhari. And EFEC OK's Africa Union Convention on border operations. Okay, so which story are we starting with in Nation?
I took Nima to Riverbanks residents. Yes, from inside. Not Nima, Nema. N-E-M-A. Oh, my God. So the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has said some of the flood victims of last year have not recovered from the impacts. Last year, they had 662 persons died, while 3,174 others suffered injuries, and 2,430,445 individuals were displaced by the floods. According to the 2023 annual flood outlook released by the Nigerian Hydrological Services Agency, they're saying now that about 178 local government areas across 32 states and the Federal Capital Territory will experience severe flooding. This one is for this year. And they said following the onset of the rainfall, NEMA has urged residents of the river banks to relocate to safer places. So the NEMA's Director General Mustafa Ahmed spoke yesterday in Abuja at a technical meeting to develop preparedness and mitigation strategies that would help them tackle the climate-related disasters during this year's raining season. And he said it's very important that the people who are living in those riverine-prone areas would have to relocate so that it will, reduce the impact of the flood. And, they are also working on how they can help them to reduce some of the effects of the flood. And everybody, they said they are announcing this now. People need to pay attention, state government, local government. If you know that you have people who are in those areas, begin to get them arranged to relocate from those areas. So I think they want to go round different local governments in different languages to get people to understand, and we'll have to keep talking about this on TV as well.
All right, so the president-elect has said that he has heard the youth loud and clear. He was saying this during his acceptance speech yesterday. He said, I will work with the utmost of my ability to make Nigerian youths better. I understand your pains, your yearnings for good governance, a functional economy, and a safe nation that protects you and your future. He also said that I know many of you did not vote for me, and you're disappointed that your candidate is not where I am, where I now stand. I understand your hurt. To you, I extend and embrace comfort of one family member to one another. This project is for us all, and we must embrace the victory for us. And he's going to work with Nigerian youth. I think that was a good caveat to throw in that speech when he was speaking, because the Nigerian youth, many of them didn't vote for him, and I think he acknowledges that, and it's important that the Nigerian youth can see that he is willing to work with them. Okay, another story.
Yeah, so I've got JAMB has sacked 2 of his staff members for allegedly forging some documents. The only sad thing about this report is I wish they specifically said what documents. Maybe other papers have it. And he's saying that they've been called before they were called before the disciplinary committee, and the staff members were, oh no. And then the staff members were asked to hand over their ID cards, and it was really, they were dismissed for what they call serious misconduct. And the board noted that the dismissal was in line with Public Service Rule 030401, which defines serious misconduct as specific acts of serious wrongdoing and improper behavior, which is inimical to the image of the service, and which can be investigated, and if proven, may lead to dismissal. So they've been dismissed for allegedly forging, not allegedly, I mean, for forging a document.
So I have,
or some documents.
The economic side to things, according to this report in the Nation, Tinubu's emergence will boost investors' confidence. And the Chief Executive Officer for the Center of Promotion of Private Enterprise, the CPP, Muda Yusuf, said that his emergence would have a positive impact on the economy and boost investors. The Nation also carried the report of how investors are looking positively to return to the country with their investments, things that, have been negatively reported over the past few years. People are looking to come back, they're becoming more encouraged to come. And generally, You know?
Okay. Moving on now to the Punch. Tinubu was Atiku Obi as parties reject results. Emilio Kon, the kingmaker who became the king. Banks' assets rise to 73 trillion naira, says CBN. Grants Nigerians visas on arrival, FG tells India. Obi, the trader who changed the game. Marketers to sanction depots, filling stations overpricing fuel. Okay, which story are we taking?
I have a human interest story inside the papers. Said a yet-to-be-identified male adult has slumped and died during an argument over a parking space at a supermarket on Admiralty Way in Lekki, area of Lagos. According to the story, said the deceased driver went to the supermarket on Friday, February 24th, to purchase some items for his employer. And he was trying to park his vehicle properly. A member of the staff of the supermarket came out to direct him to park, but he refused the guy and parked wherever he liked. And so they started having an argument, and before they realized it, they had, according to the eyewitness, they had started throwing punches, and he fell and slumped. And while people gathered around him trying to revive him, they poured him water, but he had fainted and he died from there. So the owner of the vehicle now came a few hours later to find look for the driver and realize what had happened. And so he came back threatening to sue and to arrest the supermarket's, staff, that he's a customer in that place. He's been coming, they know him. They shouldn't beat up his staff that way. The domestic, but the supermarket people were saying we didn't touch him. We had nothing to do with him. We're just exchanging words when he slumped. But the domestic staff that accompanied the driver said they actually had a physical fight, and that led to the famous.
Okay, so according to the Deputy Governor, Deputy Governor Financial System Stability Directorate of the CBN, Aisha Ahmed, total assets of the banking industry grew to about 14.3 trillion naira, or about 24.24% from 59.24 trillion naira at the end of December 2021 to 73.59 trillion naira in the corresponding year 2022. And she says this is also largely due to some of these policies that we saw towards the end of the year.
Oh, really?
Last year, that, these policies also assisted the banks. Total credits also increased from 5.4 trillion between the end of December 2021 to the end of December 2022, with a significant growth in credit to manufacturing, general commerce, oil and gas sector, and all of that.
Right.
These are positive numbers she's giving from their side, but, does it translate to ease for the
All right, so there's
but the report didn't carry how it affects our common man.
Sorry, I thought you were done.
Okay.
All right, so there was an interesting article here by Dirisu Yakubu. It says, Obi, the trader who changed the game. He wrote about how the game-changing performance of the candidate of the LP in just concluded elections, how he pulled millions of votes. According to him, he said what started as a joke a few months ago has morphed into what we now call the third force. It's Obi and his No She campaign. The political philosophy was single-handedly mastered by young people who pushed him to lots of victories, which was unexpected. So it was a really, really interesting article, which I think many Nigerians should read. It says, Obi's huge success base derives in part from the sundry youth groups made up of artisans, students, musicians, entertainers, and social media influencers who deployed their mastery of the social media to drum support for him. And it's an interesting article to just show the importance of youth votes in the future coming elections.
Yeah, so we also have the G20 meeting that's happening in India and New Delhi, and the foreign minister is there. The foreign affairs minister, Jeffrey Onyema, is there. And they said that this meeting really was supposed to talk about the relationship, bilateral relationship, and strengthening that relationship with India. And while paying tribute to the blossoming bilateral relationship between India and Nigeria, Yema stressed the need to further strengthen the economic, trade, and investment cooperation for mutual benefit for both countries. And so he mentioned that as a reciprocal, he says that India should grant visa on arrival to Nigerians as a reciprocal gesture. And I was wondering, is this something we already offer India? And if it is, why is it one-sided? Yeah. So I would like to hear what the outcome of this request will be, because if we are doing that to you, you should reciprocate. And we have lots of Indians doing a lot of business here. You know, they've even become Nigerians.
Tinubu, I'll work with everybody. Polls, UK urges FG to look into the concerns of opposition. Will change election outcome in court, Obi's running mate says. JAMB dismisses 2 staff over professional misconduct. No hard feelings losing Senate seat, says Ikpeazu. House Majority Leader Al-Hassan Adoguduguwa arrested, remanded in Kano prison. Buhari admits faults in electoral process, encourages aggrieved parties to seek justice in court. Okay, which story?
I love the story that I took, and this is Abia State Governor Okezie Ikpeazu, who's lost his senatorial election to Eyinaya Abaribe. And he says that for him, his loss does not worry him. See, this is the sort of spirit that I expect from
this season,
especially in this season. So Ikpeazu says that he's thankful to God for the opportunity of serving Abia State as governor for 8 years. And he says that he's also grateful that during this election, no life was lost in the election, and he was not ready to engage in any violence or spill any blood to win. He said, you win some, you lose some. And, you know, he went ahead to list what he describes as his blessing, two-time governor of that state. That's 8 years. He says he's built 200 roads, built 4 bridges, and restored peace and security, you know, and there are so many other things that he's hoping to do. And he's moved on to help with the gubernatorial elections. And he also acknowledges that there's an Obi wave, you know, in the region, and they will see how this has impacted them socio-politically. So that is the spirit that I would like for all of us to, you know, to emulate at this time.
Right.
Okay, so another story that I like. A senior magistrate court in Kano, situated at No Man's Land complex in Kano State, has remanded the majority leader of the House of Reps, Alassane Ado Garba Dogowa, in prison. In the past, you would say this was impossible, but yes, he was found wanted for inciting during these elections, and his statement incited Alassane at the NNPP party office, which was raised. According to the report, the police also, based on that fire, 2 bodies were found in a burnt car and several people injured. So he was invited that, you know, they felt he was complicit in the death of 3 persons and the grievous bodily harm of 8 others because of his statement on video that he was caught to have made during his campaigns, and he did not show up at the police station. So on his way to Saudi Arabia, they waylaid him at the airport and forced him to the police station. Now, you know, they quickly arraigned him, of course, and the magistrate court remanded him in custody, pending when trial proper will be done. So everybody, no man pass any man, will be made to face the book. I hope that his lawyers do a good job to get him out, but at least he's made to face the book.
Right.
Okay. The Central Bank of Nigeria has announced that Nigerians still have an opportunity to deposit their old Naira notes in their different respective banks. We know that the president had, you know, said that the 500 Naira and the 1,000 Naira are no longer legal tender in the country. However, the banks are going to be releasing the 200 Naira notes to sort of ease the cash crunch. And then people are saying that even after the presidential elections, they were expecting that, you know, the cash crunch would have been eased, that money will be in the banks, but most of the banks are still not releasing the money and people are still struggling. However, the CBN is saying that if you want to deposit your old note, you have to go to the CBN portal and you get out a code, and that code, you print it out. That's what you take to the banks, and they would, no, to the banks. You can take them to the banks now, and they will collect it, but then you have to show that printout that you've done from the CBN website. And also, if once your BVN is logged in, you cannot deposit twice. So if you're going, make sure that you have all of your money and just go once, and then they will credit, yes, and then they will credit your account. So we are looking forward to the banks releasing a lot of the 200 Naira notes. People still need money. Businesses are still suffering. As
the girl that sells plantain chips, that's what she did. She printed out. She took all her money, about 30-something thousand to the bank,
and they will take it.
All right, so the United Kingdom has hailed the emergence of Bola Tinubu as the president-elect. However, they said that they have called on relevant Nigerian authorities to examine all the concerns regarding the election malpractices and resolve the outstanding issues. And they should also that they restore calm to the nation. So the United Kingdom commends Nigerian voters for their participation in the elections and also called for relevant and actually also celebrate their resilience in exercising their democratic rights. However, asked that the federal government should ensure that the concerns that have been raised must be resolved before it gets worse. Okay. Moving on quickly now to Vanguard. Tinubu extends olive branch to Atiku Obi Akokanso. El Rufai Committee's report, President-elect must respect party supremacy, says APC Vice Chairman. 10th Senate, APC leads with 51 slots. Reps Majority Leader Dogowa remanded in prison. Governorship poll, provide security in Lagos, LP urges Buhari. Poll, will reclaim our mandate in court, says Obi Dati Val. And Atiku to supporters, remain calm, we reclaim our stolen mandate. Okay, which story are we starting with?
I have a human interest story in the Vanguard. It said Akwa Ibom State High Court sitting in Uyo has sentenced an Anwana Essien, a prophet, to 21 years in prison for raping his 10-year-old stepdaughter. So the trial judge, Justice Okon, handed down the judgment yesterday. The convict hails from Afaha Ise in Biono, Ibom local government area of the state, and committed this crime August 9, 2019 in his residence, Itiam Street, Uyo. So in his evidence, when he was, giving his story in the court, he said that a demon had pushed him into the act and that he forcefully removed the clothes of his stepdaughter and had carnal knowledge of her. So while they were delivering judgments, Justice Okon said that the confession was direct, positive, unequivocal, and that the Randy stepfather had sexual intercourse with his stepdaughter. So he has been, sentenced. Yes, right. Yeah, he's been sentenced, so to speak.
So ahead of the March 11th governorship gubernatorial elections, the LP has asked that President Muhammadu Buhari must ensure he provides adequate security operatives, because now they can pinpoint the areas where there are possible violences may occur, and they should ensure that they provide enough security agencies to ensure the peoples in these areas are not disenfranchised. They also said that INEC should not use or depend on the NURTW for the distribution or the dispatch of the sensitive materials, that there are other companies, the Ubers, Taxify, Bolt, and others can be engaged for distribution, because now they see that logistics was a serious problem in Lagos, and they're asking that INEC should engage private entities going forward for the coming elections. Any other story in Vanguard? Let's move on to
the El Rufai, party committee. The APC vice chairperson was just talking about, the inaction of the present administration on the El Rufai committee on national what's it called? Popular word. The El Rufai committee on the issue of national progress, where he talked about this popular word everybody wants to talk about all the time about Nigeria. Structuring.
This popular word.
They didn't take, this present administration didn't act on it, and that is because, the president acted as if he was above the party. He was now advising the incoming president and his own team that they are not above the party. They must submit to the supremacy of the party.
Okay.
Yes, and we have the 10th Senate, just a picture of what the 10th Senate will be looking at when they resume. And it says that prior to the last Saturday's election, about 55 of the 109 senators failed to secure their return tickets from various political parties. The reasons were the failure including aspiring for higher political offices, outright loss at party primaries, and zoning arrangements in respective senatorial districts. They also talked about some senators who, they said 30 current lawmakers will return, and that 30 of them won re-election. The ruling party has majority of the senators elect with 51 seats. Then there's 27 seats for PDP, Labour Party, LP 7 slots, NNPP 3 seats, SDP has 2 seats, and then the Young Progressive People's Party and ABGA have 1 seat each.
Fantastic. That's a beautiful, colorful National Assembly. But go ahead.
Yes,
we're done. Nigerian Tribune. I will work to make Nigeria better, says Tinubu. Maiduguri, Monday market fire. Police arrest 50 suspects for alleged looting. FEC okay $61.5 million for power contracts reward. Herdsmen invade Undo communities, destroy farms, injure farmers. We will retrieve our mandate, Atiku Okowa campaign vows. An alleged homicide, Reps Majority Leader Dogowa to be remanded in prison. Any story we've not taken?
Suspected herdsmen on Monday attacked farmers in a Jegunle power line community of Akure North local government area of Ondo State, said the farmers had protested the destruction of their farms by herdsmen and their cows, which apparently infuriated the herdsmen. And the farmers raised the alarm over the attacks in their communities, which includes Agodada and Akwa Ibom, adding that the herdsmen destroying farms, properties, injuring farmers on their farm for some time now. And so speaking on behalf of the farmers, Abraham Olowo said the herdsmen had attacked the communities more than 5 times in 1 week, and they are calling for urgent intervention by the state governments. They said the climax was the last one that happened, and about 2 farmers were almost killed. But thankfully, there was emergency rescue, and some of them had machete wounds, have been taken to the hospital. So they are asking the Governor Akeredolu, to do something about what is happening. What they see is that the herders are trying to chase the villagers out of that place so that they can take ownership of the village.
Okay, that's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, we start with a hot topic of the day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.